First pitch time, baby. WagerTalk TV, and we promise you're going to be ready to bet the board tonight after we break down 6 for you here live on WagerTalk TV. Rangers, Giants, Padres in Arizona, Miami hosting the Yankees, Twins at the Phillies, Atlanta in New York, and St. Louis in Kansas City. A little in-state action there. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and breaking down the slate with me, I got 3 of the best. Marco D'Angelo, the return of Don Buster, rising like the Undertaker. I love it. And Steve Merrill rounding out the day is here on a Friday edition. Let's get right into it. Waste no time as the chat's already popping off. Make sure you hop below, like, and subscribe so you never miss any of the start times here. Marco, Minnesota at Philadelphia. And as a Phillies fan, I got to say, man, where the hell were all these home runs all year long? 17 dingers in the last 6. It's like they saved them all here. So please tell me, Marco, you're going to tell me that my Phils are going to stay hot when the Twins come to town. How's your big game breakdown shaking out?
Well, Minnesota, they started it on Sunday. Dallas Keuchel. This is a guy I never thought I would see in the major leagues again. And although you look and see he went 5 innings and he only gave up a run, you're going to think, wow, he had a pretty good outing, and maybe he's back and ride him again. Well, guys, I was on Minnesota in that game, and let me tell you, that was probably the luckiest win I ever had, because I don't know how he only gave up 1 run. In those 5 innings, he struck out no one. He gave up 8 hits and 2 walks. That's 10 base runners in 5 innings. That translates to a whip of 2.00. You cannot win games in Major League Baseball putting 2 guys on base every inning. Then look at the Philadelphia Phillies. They are absolutely knocking the cover off the baseball right now. They're averaging 6.7 runs per game over their last 7 games, and I feel they're going to send an early shower tonight. And what I'm looking at with the Phillies, Dan, you'll be happy. They'll get the win. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 1.5 with them. And I'll tell you what, and I'm waiting to see it. It's not been posted yet because Philadelphia is one of those spots where it looks like they're going to use the bullpen type day, and they're playing around on who the starting pitcher is going to be. So when you go to the window, you put this one either as action versus Keuchel or just listed as an action play. But lay Philadelphia minus 1.5 runs. And when the team total was finally posted, you're going to see 5.5 on Philly. I would bet the team total on the Phillies over 5.5 runs as well. That's my big game breakdown.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Marco out of the gate. And he's not even pandering. It's plays that he actually likes. But, I love hearing some Phillies love right here at the top. Don Buster, as I mentioned, cue the Undertaker music because you are back, baby. And over the last 10 days, 7-1-2 in these Major League Baseball plays. You're seeing it well. Let's take a look at the Rangers and the Giants. It's the nightcap in San Fran. How are you going to be betting this one, Don?
Well, Dan, thanks for having me. Good to be back. And I know I'm supposed to run right into this game, but I have to wish you a very, very happy birthday, my friend, and all the best. So our play is going to be – okay. Our play is going to be on the Texas Rangers here on the money line. And we have a couple of our favorite systems going here, and that's helping us with with both on the Rangers. It's going to be San Francisco's first home game in 5 games on a 5-game road trip. Now, mind you, they did play all down the West Coast. They weren't all that far away from home, but still, that always plays in this. They went 1-4 in those games. We also have Texas coming back from a shutout. They had lost. That was the only loss in their last 9 games, or 8-1 their last 9 games, and they didn't score any runs in their last game. Well, this Texas Rangers team, they are the leaders in Major League Baseball in runs scored. So looking for them to get some runs tonight. We have San Francisco. They're going to go with a bullpen game tonight. Alexander's going to start. He's only pitched like an inning every time. Maybe I think he's got I don't even think he's pitched 2 innings in the start of a game. I think he started 5 times now. I think this favors the Rangers in a bullpen game, especially after being probably really not too happy with themselves, scoring 0 runs against an Oakland club. Texas, they will send John Gray to the hill, and he has struggled of late. There's no doubt about that. But when he pitches his best, he pitches his best on the road. He's got a 3.14 ERA in 9 road starts. So we'll look for John to hold them down a bit, and we'll look for Texas to put a bunch of runs on. I think this is just a great situational spot here for Texas. And one more thing, Dan, it's going to be Bruce Bochy's first time back to San Francisco. Well, we all know good old Bruce brought San Francisco 3 World Series championships. And I'll tell you right now, everyone in that Texas Ranger dugout will want this win for Bruce. This will be a huge game for that club. We're getting a small line here. Give us Texas on the money line.
Great breakdown there, Don Buster. Check him out at WagerTalk.com. And Steve Merrill with the doubleheader. He was hosting Wager Talk today earlier, and he's back to give you some baseball winners and Braves and Mets. Looks like tonight on the mound, we're going to have some righty-on-righty crime going down. Morton versus McGill. Steve Merrill, how are you looking at this one, brother?
Yeah, Dan, it's your birthday, so I had to see you twice today because when you turn 50,
that.
it's important that you see a guy twice in that same day. So looking good for the big 5-0. He'll be 60 after the show. He'll be 70 next week. You all see how it works back at home. A little math for you on this Friday as we head into the weekend. But look, Dan, you and I have done a lot of baseball shows the last couple of weeks, and you know where this is going, right? If I'm talking about a Mets game, I'm sure as hell not on the Mets. And I mentioned it last week. We did a show. I took the mighty Kansas City Royals. Part of that 7-game win streak is because they swept the Mets 3 straight. And then what is afraid to look at the Orioles as well against the Mets. So both of those teams I played it on against the Mets here on the MLB First Pitch Show last week, and now we're going to do it with maybe the best team in baseball against what is probably, if not the worst team, the most unattractive team right now in baseball, the New York Mets. So this one might seem obvious, it might seem simple, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work because the Braves are the only way to play this one tonight. And look, the Mets came into the season with the number 1 payroll in baseball this year. They were looking to win a championship. And very few teams toss the towel and quit on the year. But the teams that normally do that, 1 or 2 teams every season in every sport that just kind of give up, is usually a team that had huge championship aspirations and then basically has no chance of even making the playoffs. And that's the Mets. And to prove the point further, one of the reasons their payroll is so high is they picked up Verlander. They picked up Scherzer in the offseason. They deal Scherzer, and then Verlander comes out and says how disappointed he is that he thought they were playing for a championship, and boom, right before the trade deadline, Verlander's gone as well. August 1st, the Mets lose. In fact, they lose 6 straight starting on August 1st. They've gone just 2-7 the last 9 games since August began when that trade deadline ended. This is not a team you want to be messing with. And one of the only wins recently was when they returned home. They put up 11 on the Cubs. Hey, maybe that was the buy sign. No, they put up 2 runs and only 4 runs in their last 2 games with only 6 hits and 8 hits. So even though they've won 2 out of 3 at home, I wouldn't read too much into that. A huge step up in class now against the Atlanta Braves. And Atlanta, hey, they struggled against Marco's Pirates, right? Not really. I know they split that series 2-2, and they were fortunate to win the second game. They were down the whole game the other night on Tuesday before that comeback win in the 9th inning. So they very well could have been 1-3 against the mighty Pirates. But nothing's wrong. This team is smacking the ball. They've had 10 hits or more, double-digit hits now in 8 straight games, even though they've lost half of them. So I actually think the Braves are a play-on team. They're a little underrated right now. They overlooked the Pirates after the Cubs series, and now they will not overlook the divisional Mets. They'll not miss the opportunity to jump on them here tonight on Friday. Atlanta Braves, whether you play a -175 money line, -1.5, -115 run line, or use that -1, -150, -145, -1 line. Only one way to play it tonight. The New York Mets Atlanta Brave game is on the Atlanta Braves. And by the way, this is one of the MLB Network games. The other one is Reds Pirates. Who would have thought Reds Pirates might get more national views than the Braves Mets? I thought the MLB Network probably thought they had a pretty good matchup here a couple months ago.
Yeah, you're not wrong. How the times have changed. Steve Merrill saying it's not time to stop fading the Mets just yet. Hop below in the comments and let us know if you're thinking the same about this Mets run. And you mentioned, Steve, turning 50. You might believe it with all the gray hair I got up here.
No, I don't believe it for a minute, folks. The big 3-0. Just kidding. I'm jealous.
Found the first gray hair, Steve, in 6th grade, and it's just been downhill ever since then. But speaking of downhill, guys, Yeah, it was rough. But speaking of downhill, Marco D'Angelo, not your plays, but the Yankees, man, lost 7 of their last 11 games. Now they're hanging out in the cellar of the AL East. So, Marco, I mean, is there any reason to think they finally snap out against Miami, or are you just riding that train as well?
I'm going to ride that train as well. And I didn't know where you were going to start to go there out of that setup there. But you're talking about your hair, and then you're going to go with downhill, and you bring my bald head into the picture. So I didn't know, thanks, Dan. You didn't go down that avenue. But
I'm glad to know I'll be back for the next
for
edition of First Pitch. Yeah, I'll be back for the next edition of First Pitch. It could have went one way there, Marco. I'm glad to hear.
Well, even your birthday, I would have gave you a pass for that. But the Yankees, you want to talk about passing? I don't want any part of this team right now because the Yankees, not only are they not playing well, they're not getting any pitching. And this is a team that generally, has had solid pitching. But, 7 of the last 11 games, their pitching's allowed 5 runs or more. You're not going to win a lot of ball games that way. And they're going to be facing a pitcher tonight. Miami sends Luzardo to the mound, and he has pitched well at home. In 13 home starts, his ERA is 2.64, and his whip is just 1.03. Solid numbers for him. And in those 13 starts, Miami's 10-3. Throw in the fact this will be the first time the Yankees have faced him. We talk about that all the time. Pitcher has the advantage over the hitters first time around the league. Give that another advantage to Miami. In Miami in interleague play, they're 23-15 this season. I mean, go down to Miami is, generally a fun thing, but it's the, worst travel spot for teams, especially the interleague teams, because geographically they're not in that area. So another advantage for Miami. And then you got the Yankees coming to town. Whether they're winning or losing, it's always the pinstripes in the name the Yankees. So teams get up for them. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot tonight with Miami. Got some stats for you that'll kind of blow your mind with the Yankees. After allowing 9 runs or more this season, which they did in the last game, how about 1 in 10 in the next game? Yankees on Friday nights, they're just 3-14 this season. And the Yankees, when they play following a day off this year, 6-14. I can't find any reason that I want to take the Yankees tonight, other than if you want to look at it and you're one of these guys that say, wow, I'm getting Yankees at a big price. That's too much value to pass up. Well, guess what? It's a price on the Yankees is a dog for a reason, because they're playing like dog, you know what. Let's go ahead and take Miami as the best bet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You hear so much in the sports betting industry and the shows, value this, value that. Yeah, there's no value if you don't win the damn play. So it's a great breakdown there from my man Marco D'Angelo. Check him out. And with football right around the corner, take advantage of some of this early bird football pricing that we have. Bet on it going to be returning here on the WagerTalk TV YouTube channel as well. We've already got previews up for the NFC, the AFC, and some prop previews as well with Andy Lang. So make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss any of the shows we drop here. And you don't miss the return of Don Buster giving a best bet. Hey, good news, though, for Padres and Diamondbacks. There's no locks in this industry, but it is a lock that one of them is going to end their losing streaks here. Padres, do they snap the 4-game skid, or do the Diamondbacks snap the 8-game skid? How are you going to be betting this one, Don?
Well, actually, Dan, I'm not even going to go whether one of them breaks their skid, but I will go with a first half line here.
Smart.
I'm going to take San Diego for the first half on the run line. Arizona, as you already mentioned, Dan, they're on an 8-game losing streak. San Diego on a 4-game losing streak. But I don't think it gets any better for Arizona here because they're facing Blake Snell. Now, as we know, Blake has been lights out. He was lights out all for about 2 months. In the month of June, he had a 0.87 ERA. In the month of July, it's even better, 0.56 ERA. Now, I've been betting baseball for a long time, and I tell you, those are 2 months that they might be up there probably in the top 10 of guys throwing 2 months together. That's for sure, because it's unbelievable pitching. Now, he faced the Dodgers last game. He gets 3 runs allowed. Now, people say, well, you know what? He's got to regress. Well, maybe he does, but I just don't think so. Not against this Arizona team that has really struggled. And again, you might want to keep an eye on him moving forward into September and that. But right now, he has been pitching unbelievable. And who isn't going to struggle against a Los Angeles Dodgers team that's killing the ball lately? So, and even if he does struggle a bit today in the first couple innings, San Diego will finally get somebody that they might be able to hit. They go against Nelson here, and Nelson has struggled all year. He's sporting a 7.47 ERA with a whip of 1.72 in his last 3 starts alone. Now let's see what he's doing at home. Not really good. 8.01 ERA with a whip of 1.90 in 10 home starts. Gotta believe this is just what the doctor ordered for San Diego here. I think they're going to get some runs early and often here. Blake holds them down for the first 5. I just didn't want to lay the 160, 170 for the first half run line. So I'm going to do for the first half money line. So I'm going to do the first half run line here. Give me San Diego to get the job done.
I like it. Can you smell what my man Don Buster is cooking there? Check him out at WagerTalk.com. And Steve, we still got a gold sheet play of the day, but you're going to have the final best bet of the day, and it's the start of a 2-game set. The in-state rivals, Royals and Cardinals, facing off against each other. So, Steve, I hand the mic to you. How are we betting this one?
Yeah, we're going to look at a free play in baseball for Friday night in just a moment. By the way, let me tell you about a bonus free play, because I have an additional free play on my page right now at WagerTalk.com, and I want you to go there, check out the free bonus baseball play, but also take a look at not only my steamroller blowout for Friday night in baseball, but my first 2 NFL preseason plays of the season, one for Friday, one for Saturday. Football is here, and it starts tonight for my client, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. All right, let's look at a bonus baseball free play for the show here. A game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. And one of the reasons this did just miss the cut is because there could be some rain delays in Kansas City, the St. Louis-Kansas City game tonight. And that is a concern. But regardless whether they play on time or not, I like St. Louis in this game. And it's not necessarily a play on the Cardinals. It's more of a play against the Kansas City Royals. You know, you remember a few months ago, the Oakland A's won 7 straight, and then they were terrible after that. Well, the Royals did the exact same thing. Terrible season. They have a miraculous 7-game win streak, 3 of which came against the awful Mets. So don't read too much into it. But since that 7-game win streak got snapped, they're just 1-5 straight up in their last 6. In those last 6 games, they've had 8 hits or less 5 of the 6 times. They're not hitting the ball well. And now they return home without rest after a 7-game road trip. And as Jeff Michaels and I have discussed quite often this year, home dogs off extended road trips are the weakest spot in all of sports. So that fades Kansas City here tonight. But more so, it's just not a good spot to play the Royals in general. They're still on the pace to lose 110 games this year. And it's not a fluke. Oakland and Kansas City, the 2 worst bullpen ERAs and bullpen whips in baseball. That's what decides modern baseball is bullpen. And I bring that up because Kansas City is starting a guy you probably never heard of named Dylan Coleman. He's never started in the majors, 90 relief appearances. He's averaged less than 1 inning per appearance during his 3-year MLB career. He has been horrendous this year with an ERA of over 10, a whip over 2.0. Needless to say, he probably doesn't last too long, which means that awful Kansas City bullpen finishes out the job. No matter how you cut it here, this is a good situation for the better overall team in a good spot. St. Louis Cardinals minus $1.20 money line Friday night. Now, that's a bonus free play because I have a free over-under selection on my page right now, along with several best bets for Friday and Saturday, both football and baseball, and a bonus free play. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Great stuff there from Steve Merrill. You want some more info? Check him out on Wager Talk today. It was a great show on Friday, and you can find it right here on the Wager Talk TV YouTube channel. Hop below in the comments. Let us know what you're betting on the slate, and I'll let you know what the gold sheet has cooked up for today. Talked all these games and still have a bonus one for you as we're looking towards the Boston Red Sox team total under the 4.5 runs. It's even money currently on DraftKings Sportsbook. It really starts with the pitching for Detroit, as Tariq Skubal has a 2.29 expected ERA. He's at a 31.1% strikeout rate as well. And in 27 innings, just a total of 4 walks. He hasn't given up a home run as of his recent form. And then you look at what the Red Sox are doing against left-handed pitching. They're near the bottom third of the league versus lefties. And then you look at the back end of the bullpen. You worry about maybe the bullpen giving up some runs. They only used 2 relievers, did the Tigers on Thursday, and no one's working on a back-to-back. So a good in-shape bullpen against a team that struggles against good starting pitching. Starting left-handed pitching. That's why we are looking towards the Boston Red Sox team total under the 4.5 runs. It's your Gold Sheet play of the day. Check out Gold Sheet on WagerTalk.com. And that's going to do it. Another week here rounding out on First Pitch. Big thanks to the dais today, Steve Merrill and Marco D'Angelo and Don Buster making his return. Hopefully you have a profitable weekend and we'll be locked and loaded. You don't have to go anywhere for more actionable info. Just click the link right here on the video and stay here on Wager Talk TV. We'll see you next time.